Welcome to Books with Al-Ghazali. Myself and Lukman have been looking at the Prophet for the past few episodes of this show, and we've gone way deep into the work, and we'll continue this discussion from where we last stopped, which was on giving. We had looked at Kahlil Gibran's take on marriage, children, love, and so on. So today we'll be looking at his take on giving, the art of giving. So Lukman, you're welcome.
Thank you very much.
So we'll read the text and give our thoughts to it. Then said a rich man, "Speak to us of giving." And he answered, "You give but little when you give of your possession. It is when you give of yourself that you truly give. For what are your possessions but things you keep and guard for fear you may need them tomorrow? And tomorrow what shall bring to the overprudent dog burying buns in the trackless sand as he follows the pilgrim to the holy city? And what is fear of need but need itself?" So I think the first part is Kahlil Gibran's view of what giving should really be. He said that it is when you give of material things, you actually only give too little, because material things are things that can be given by just everyone. So no matter how big, how much, when it is things that are material, that are from the physical world, it follows that you only give too little because everyone else can give. And which is even why we have to contextualize actually what wealth is. Because if all you have can only be measured in terms of material accumulation, you also do not have. You must have something over and above material aggregation. You cannot aggregate them in terms of material worth. I could remember a friend of mine who wanted to start a shop, and part of the problems he had was to identify a trustworthy person to manage the place. And when he could not immediately identify such a person, he shelved the idea altogether. And when we got talking about it, I was surprised why he could, shelve such a thing that he used to take so passionately because of that reason. He said he could not entrust his business to people nowadays because it is almost because he had past experience of dealing with people who are dishonest, who double cross him and so on. And my thought is that, okay, you cannot really ever identify such a person, because trust is not a commodity you will buy in the market square. You cannot go into the market and identify and buy trust.
Yes.
It is something you earn, something you build,
Yes.
something you work for. people must see you to be deserving of their trust. And part of what confronts our society today is this belief that you will identify trustworthy. People get to be. We cannot build things. We cannot transform societies. We cannot build communities if we do not build these non-material qualities in people. People cannot. These are things that come out from dedication, from clear effort, from struggle. People have to be put through before they can be trustworthy, before they can be loyal to you. And I know a couple of people who have the loyalty of the cruelest person in the society because he earned it. So even though these people are cruel, he is exempted from the cruelty. So I think it has to be built, and people must understand that trust is, you cannot pick it up on the surface of the earth. You cannot go to the market and buy it. You cannot just come across it by accident. We have to accept that it is a trait we must inculcate in people. First, before people will be trustworthy, before people will trust you, you must give them enough trust. You must give them enough trust. You must give them enough reason why you can be there for them all the time. You must, subscribe them to some higher purposes, such that, because the major problem is that we find it difficult to help people envision things the way we do. And so when you're building something with people, you find out that only a couple of people have an understanding of that thing. But when you want to build a community, when you, as a leader, the most important thing you should do is to help your lieutenants, people around you, to envision the things you are envisioning, and then that, when they envision that, it helps consolidate their own passion, because passion is largely sometimes purposeless. It is just the urge to do something, and if it is not properly managed, your passion will fall on what will eventually become your undoing. So passion needs to be managed, needs to be guided, needs to be tamed. And so part of earning things like trust, like loyalty, like respect, come from your ability to take someone who did not even master his own passion, who did not envision anything beyond himself, to be able to now envision these things. When you help them do that, when you show them how much committed you are to helping them reach that goal, then they will stick by your side. But first of all, you meet people and you begin to say that, see, me, I don't want to deal with people who are dishonest. Or my my boss will always tell me that it is grossly unfair when you send a child and the first assumption you have in your mind is that that child may cheat you. He said, wait until the person cheats you before you can have a case. You should have a reason to doubt him. But if you don't, when you see people who do that frequently, it only tells you who they are.
Yes.
Because ordinarily you must assume, you must feel that every other person is as good as you are.
Yes.
But if when you think people are not, then you are bad.
Yes.
So I think when you just give people money, when what they need is honest advice, being there for them, guiding them, building them up, just having them, putting them through, even when they do not know. That is a better giving than say that you that I've been giving you clothes every Salah, every Eid, and so on. These things anyone can give.
Yes.
Anyone can give, but being there for people,
that compassion,
standing up for them,
yes,
guiding them, that is, I think, a better giving. I do not know if you have another view to add before we proceed.
Let's proceed.
Okay. It is when you give of yourself that you truly give. For what are your possessions but things you keep and guard for fear you may need them tomorrow? A very profound statement here. Possessions are sometimes things you really only keep because they may probably be needed tomorrow.
Yes.
And if you so therefore even you, the reason you have them is because you are suffering from fear.
Yes.
Yeah, that fear. So of what good is giving out from your a portion of what is actually a fear to you, and I think if everyone overcomes fear, then nobody will be moved when you give from possessions. Largely, what are the things we are afraid of? What to eat, what to shelter ourselves, what to... You see, look, man, there are things that people misunderstand really about this world. This world is about, is first of all about you living it, feeling that you are in the world, obtaining a state of your own presence, feeling that you are alive, feeling that you are transforming the world. And transformation starts from yourself. Transformation starts from the non-physical self, then to the physical self. But now we have moved to a stage where we are much more interested in the physical self than the spiritual entity. So that is entirely a different matter. The other matter is this mad rush for accumulation of material wealth. There are people whose entire life is built on accumulation, and accumulation is good, but purpose is better than accumulation. People accumulate a lot of money without any purpose around it, and the only purpose is that they think they have overcome every other potential suffering. That's the only purpose. But purposeful accumulation is one that is geared towards adding value. And that is communal in nature. It is not individualistic. We live in a world where people are interested to bid all the way, to possess a house, a car, a collection of clothing, and so on. These are the things which people are interested in. But then again, that only houses the physical body.
Yes.
But what houses the non-physical entity is purpose. So when you have a purpose, you know very well that even when all these material accumulations are not yet in place, your purpose has, because you are headed somewhere. Your purpose helps to build. Now people are interested in legacy, and so on. But purpose helps you not even bother about legacies, because legacy, to an extent, even challenges. Do you call it ikhlas?
Yes.
Do you call it when you do something for God and for God alone? Because the irony is that, especially for Muslims, whatever material accumulation you now have, there is a ruling from the Quran which already divides that wealth so percent to so people and so on while you are still alive. In fact, before you were born, that ruling is there. So everything you are accumulating today is meant to go that way.
Yes.
You know that.
Yes.
So it is another way of telling you that these things, you are behind them, and on and on. You know that this is something you are happy you have done. But I don't get this understanding people now have. This is the bane of our society today. People go into a lot of crimes because of these things. People become drug barons. People become thieves when they're in government offices. People get involved in bets. People get involved in a lot of crime, cyber crime, 419. People fall into to scams because they are blinded by that love for accumulation. And accumulation, you may live only for 40, 50, 60 years, and you live. It doesn't make sense. I don't know. It doesn't make sense.
So, talking about this fear of accumulation, I just remember a prophetic hadith that resonates with that.
Yes.
That the Prophet, peace be upon him, said that
yes.
If you would really rely upon Allah,
yes,
just like the birds rely on Him, that they leave their nest in the morning, hungry, and they return in the evening, full bellied. God will provide you just like He provides the birds like that. But if it be because of our fear, we keep accumulating. What will happen when I die? What will happen tomorrow? And by that accumulation, you think, you go overboard from doing the legal things to doing illegal things like that.
And people forget. I think it is important people learn to understand what God represents.
Yes.
God is nothing any human can imagine. The promise of God is not such a promise that will not be met.
Of course.
You should just have the courage to accept it.
Yes. That courage is what we are lacking.
Yeah, we are lacking.
Because that courage in God and that sincere belief in God is not something that you said with your tongue. It has to manifest in your heart, within your soul, and you can't fake it.
And Lukman, more importantly, it is learned.
It is learned, of course.
And so, since it is learned, it can be taught.
Yes.
And we have to learn to teach young people absolute trust in God.
Yes.
Now, parents are helping to destroy young people's faith in God.
Yes.
So, you will find parents asking their kids to say, okay, call your uncle who is in Lagos to send you school shoes.
Yes.
Call your aunt to send you Salah clothes, or buy you new uniform, or buy texts, books, and so on. And so the child grows up already meant to now believe that this world works with begging human beings.
Yes.
And you cannot at the same time beg God and human beings. This doesn't work. The heart that can beg human beings cannot dare beg God.
Yes.
But parents do not understand. Well, some of these parents do not also believe in God that much, so it is normal. They think that what they can get from what they're familiar with, the human beings they see, is faster than what God can. And they think that there is some sort of bureaucracy.
And I think part of how some parents destroy the future and the trust in God and even the society at large. How children are being taught or being channeled to study specific courses. Go and study specific course. Why? Not to acquire the knowledge, not to be beneficial to the society or to himself, but to get that material accumulation. There's much money here. So that child will grow up with that psychology, just acquiring the wealth, without the having that mind or that spirit to be helpful to the society.
Absolutely. And I think beyond that also is the fact that, we do not understand, we don't teach people about the stories of people who have, lived before us. And if you cannot remember the story of people around you, the story of the prophet, peace be upon him, and his companions is enough. If you want wealth, there are companions who have accumulated wealth beyond more than you can imagine. If you want knowledge, if you want loyalty, if you want leadership, if you want discipline, everything,
whatever kind of quality you seek,
it's
available.
But now, when you don't tell people the personal success stories of other people before them, which therefore naturally should include the story of their struggles, people will begin to be focusing on that success part, much more than the struggles.
And trying to get shortcuts to that success.
When we were in primary and secondary school, we love so much adventure. We love so much adventure, and we never go for ease. People will be, we have friends who will be, trying to, get lift from neighbors and so on. We prefer to trek. Because as we trek, we come across, dogs.
Most especially dogs. To be chased by the dogs. That
adventure. Now that makes you know that everything else in this world is about adventure. And you are now a lot better when you remember that you've gone through all these things. Now you're looking for greater adventures. But people seek ease. People seek pleasure. and they cannot build, they cannot resist. My biggest problem, because I'm an entrepreneur, I have a problem with people's mindset, because each time you come to build something, people look at these things with a very narrow mindset.
Yes.
When you think their parents are a bit informed, they have mastered the world, they have enough experience, their parents are even worse. And you just wonder if people understand the purpose. I just come to believe that there are people who are meant to, just live and go, just otherwise, what can you say? People look at tomorrow, next tomorrow. No, I think that there are things which God had promised the prophet, peace be upon him. He promised him that I will grant you this. Yes. I will grant your ummah this. But then again, God did not grant some of these things until he's gone.
Yes.
Like conquest of many important cities.
Yes. Constantinople,
yes.
Rome,
yes.
other places.
So, but he only did the part that he was meant to do.
Yes.
The rest, what you have built today will
speak for itself.
It will speak for itself, and eventually it will bring those things that you think are far away from you.
Yes.
But people, people just go and struggle, and they die. Bury them, and then. So, and tomorrow, what shall tomorrow bring to the over prudent dog, burying bones in the trackless sun as he follows the pilgrims to the holy city? What a very profound way to put this, and I think these kind of statements are too loaded, that Kahlil, you will wonder at what level Kahlil Gibran thinks, because one, you overprudent dog who buries bones in the trackless sand. First of all, you think you're overprudent, so now you have this habit of saying savings. I have a friend, I swear to God, if he tells you how he saves money in a month, I said, do you even get to eat? When he gets money, if it is 10 naira, 9.5 goes into saving.
Wow.
How does he feed? He feeds on some sort of self-created welfare system.
Wow.
So we are the type who want to enjoy life. If we have money, we
squander it.
We spend it,
yes.
And so, as far as he's concerned, I am the most unserious person on earth, the most senseless, purposeless, short-sighted.
Yes.
I am incapable of thinking about anything.
Not knowing that all those qualities he refers to you,
yes,
is manifested on you.
Yes. And so each time he has money, when our friends are getting married, so he will be the first person to say, okay, this marriage is coming 6 months from now. We have to start contributions and so on. So the way he contributes is that if you say, okay, bring 10,000, so he will, this month he can bring 1.5. Next month he can bring 1.5. So when it is about time, when the wedding is already here and he had only paid like 7,000, he will meet the groom and tell him that, see, I have been asked to bring 10,000, but I have brought 7,000 so far. Please, I will bring the remaining 3,000 after the wedding, because he doesn't want to change his savings plan.
Yes.
So he will rather wait until next tranche of whatever he's expecting comes in, and then he pays it. That is his plan of that is his plan for saving, for giving out that money. Very very surprisingly, he when NGOs started giving people contracts, and since it is free money, and
yes,
someone misled him into believing that he would be given a contract and so on. So he took all the money he had invested in. Now there is no judge, no lawyer in Maiduguri that he hasn't been to. The money is gone.
All the money he has been saving.
All the money he has been saving is
punishing
gone.
Himself.
Yes. So this statement is simply, when he gets the money, he hides them, because he doesn't. So nobody will
just
ever
like
know.
An overprudent dog.
Yes, and he keeps on chasing more and more and more. So why are you even chasing more when you already have?
Yes.
And so he goes on chasing more. Now he fell into a trouble that took away all that he had saved. So so this is the problem. So that tomorrow for which you are saving is not in your hands. What we are saying is that you should hit a middle ground between your ability to plan and your ability to enjoy as you get.
Yes.
To begin to say that no, tomorrow you don't know what is happening nowadays. You don't. If you don't have anyone in this world, you have God.
Yes.
And that is enough for the whole world, not you alone. One piece of non-entity living in one village. So you see. And what is fear of need but need itself?
Yes.
Very clear.
Very clear. That fear itself.
Yeah. Because your need has already been. God gave you mouth, gave you all the 5 senses. He cannot be unaware that these senses require to be fed. And so the God that gave you all this thing cannot be found lacking.
Yes.
To provide you with what these things are meant for.
And He's never oblivious of
your
being.
So you did not even come to be until He had met all your provisions.
Yes, before you even come to the
But
world.
not only that, He assured you that despite making all these provisions in place before creating you, He also gave you a room that if you come back to me, I will give you more and more.
Yes.
But you have a feeble mind that is incapable of conceiving how powerful this God is. And rather than to accept that it is your own weakness, you now begin to challenge even the existence of God. And you now begin to live by yourself. And that is when you will enter the biggest problem in your life without ever getting out of it. Yes. And that's what is killing most young people nowadays.
Yes.
It's not dread of thirst when your well is full. The thirst that is unquenchable is not dread of thirst when your well is full. The thirst that is unquenchable. Maybe you can help us get a sense of this. But what I think he may have meant here is okay, you are dreading yourself when, for instance, he made a metaphorical statement by saying when the well is full. When you have, for instance, when the well is full, that's enough. When the well is full, that should be enough. What more do you want? Build another well? Now this particular statement is what led this world into colonialism. after Industrial Revolution, when Europe realized that they can now produce more, despite the limited population, they started that euphoria that now we can use machines to produce, tens of clothes overnight, push them to begin to produce in large quantity. Now, immediately that raised two fundamental concerns. One, where do we then source more raw materials? But not only that, when we source raw materials and produce more goods in our industries, where are we going to sell them? So, raw materials and markets. Now, they realize that the population of Europe is young, is small, is limited, so they cannot consume all the goods in the industries. Where else do we go? And they began to send explorers to go and explore the rest of the world. Where can we find markets? Where can we find sources of raw materials? So first of all, they don't come to you as some sort of human beings. They come for you for your numbers. And okay, for instance, Far East Asia has such a large population. The Indian subcontinent, Africa, these parts of the world that has quite a lot of population, they went there not because they are there to deal with human beings. They are there because of the population, the numbers.
Yes.
That is all that mattered. When ordinarily what they should have done is to now produce according to their market size and according to their consumption. But the wisdom of God,
fair, yes,
the wisdom of God is also very complex for common understanding. It was by the way that quest to produce more that opened up the minds of many people across the world to also want to invent, want to industrialize, and so on. But the cruelty we have seen in during the colonial period was all thanks to Europeans producing much more than they can consume and not ever getting satisfied with what they wanted to, keep pushing the trenches and on and on. So I think that's probably what this part of the statement meant.
Okay, probably I am seeing it from a different perspective here.
Okay.
That what's the statement there?
It's not
dread of thirst when your well is full. The thirst that is unquenchable.
Okay.
Like it is a kind of dreaded thirst.
Yes.
To get more of something while the well is already full.
Okay, I see.
Like if you can relate it probably to the possessions of the world.
Yes.
The world is full of whatever that you need.
Yes.
But then your thirst to acquire and accumulate the world is not unquenchable.
Yeah, I see.
So this is a kind of dreaded thirst, a kind of euphoric thirst.
I see. Yeah, of course, that's another way of looking at it. In fact, that makes my own view of it entirely problematic. So I think the subsequent statements give more meaning to that, since it's a question. There are those who give little of the much which they have, and they give it for recognition, and their hidden desire makes their gifts unwholesome. And there are those who have little and give it all. These are the believers in life and the bounty of life, and their coffer is never empty.
Yes.
There are those who give with joy, and that joy is their reward. And there are those who give with pain, and that pain is their baptism. And there are those who give and know not pain in giving, nor do they seek joy, nor give with mindfulness of virtue. I think without proceeding, that describes one thing we keep on being always contemplating with our lead bows. Here is someone who never ever got tired of giving, and who hated to be thanked, and who doesn't remember what he gives you the last time, who doesn't care whether you are happy with what he has given you or not, who doesn't care about whether you are big or small, whether you have it more than he does. As far as he's concerned, once he comes into your presence or you come into his presence, the next instinct for him is to give and forget. So he's not that type of person who says that haven't I given you this same thing you are asking?
Yes.
He doesn't even want
to know whether he has given you or not.
He doesn't even want you to put forward a request. He doesn't. So people think he's too fast. Each time you come into his presence, the first thing he does is to how are you, and sometimes you will wonder whether he treats people on the basis of what he can give them, and he doesn't list. No, it is not like that. He doesn't even want to wait until he hears what your problem is. What he has intended to give you, he will give you nonetheless.
Yes, whether you ask for it or present your problem.
Yes. And the worst thing you will do to him is to insist on thanking him when he gives, because when he gives you, he disappears from the scene immediately. But some people stay. I will wait until he comes out. We'll thank him. He doesn't. When he knows that this is what you want to do, you will not meet him. So I think does he get joy out of it? I don't know. Does he do it because it has become his second nature? Most probably. But when you mention his name, the next thing everyone who knows him thinks about is giving.
Yes.
That is his trademark, and he gives without even looking at your face. Without there is this type of giving people do when they meet people they know. For him it is not like that. Whether he knows you or not, once he sees you, and at the time he has something to give, he will give you, and he doesn't care if, for instance, he's giving you what he's giving is too little for your status. No,
that's your problem.
He will just give you. He'll just give you. So they give, as in yonder valley, the myrtle breathes its fragrance into space. Completely lost here. I do not know what this guy wants to say. But since he says breathes its fragrance into space, probably he meant to say this is some sort of a tree that has a very nice fragrance that it gives out so freely into the space, mindlessly, probably, I think. Though through the hands of God, through the hands of such as this God, what am I reading here? Through the hands of such as this God speaks, and from behind their eyes he smiles upon the earth. Okay, through the hands of such as this, through the minds of such people who give mindlessly, who give without minding about, without seeking joy, yes, without feeling pain, who just consider it normal. God speaks, and he meant to say that these people who give mindlessly are divine agencies.
Yes,
who give. So when they give you, just consider that it is God directly reaching out to you.
Yes.
And from behind their eyes he smiles upon the earth, and that while they give and go, perhaps this joy that spreads all over the world is probably what when you give people and then you forget you have given them, you share a certain level of joy across the world that you cannot even imagine by yourself. And I think that is the case most of the time when you give people who never knew you, who do not know you also, who are probably in the direst of problem in this world, and you reach out to them, and you do not know the amount of joy you are bringing to their lives. Long after you have gone, they will keep talking about that. Yeah. So I think we have taken too much of this, because it is quite fundamental part of our everyday life, and I think it's better we bring this to a close at this page, and we build upon it in our subsequent editions. So thank you very much for being part of our discussion, random as they are. We hope that they spark some thoughts in you, and make you to reflect on some of the things we have discussed. So thank you for listening to us. We meet in our next edition next week, Wednesday. Thank you from me and Lukman.